Hello and welcome back to my channel. This is Learn to Sew with Nani. Today I bring you another exciting tutorial on how to make a Princess Dart Bustier 6 pieces dress without a half cut or without a cut at the waist. So if you can see on the thumbnail or there on your screen, you would see the sample of what we are making. It's a Princess Dart and it's a 6 pieces gown or dress without half cut. Now right here on my table I have my Princess Dart Bustier pattern. All right, so on this channel I have a detailed video on how to draft and cut your Princess Dart Bustier. I also have a video on how to pad and iron and couple your Princess Dart Bustier. So you can see my curve ruler and my pattern maker. All right, so they are for sale. Please, if you want your curve rulers, please reach out to me and I would tell you how to get them, or I will be them to you. And I'll be making use of this beautiful fabric, and it's 3 yards of fabric. All right, so if you are a pattern maker, just know that you need to have a fabric scissors and a paper scissors. So this blue one is for my fabric and this pink one is for my pattern. All right, so please watch the video on how to draft and cut your Princess Dart Bustier so that you can understand this one perfectly. Okay, so let's just get right to the cutting of this tutorial. All right, so I've spread out my fabric to start cutting the 6 pieces dress. All right, so remember that I said you need your Princess Dart Bustier pattern to make this dress. So this is my Princess Dart Bustier pattern already cut out. Okay, so we'll just move ahead to start cutting these pieces. All right, so now like I said earlier, my usual half length is 18 inches, but for the sake of this tutorial I made it 20 inches. That is directly on my navel length. So my half length for this project is directly on my navel length, and this is because that is where I want the flare for this dress to start from. So if you look closely at the thumbnail, you'll see that the flare started from the half length. All right, so that's where I wanted mine to. That's where I want mine to start from. Remember, your pattern maker, your curve rulers are for sale. Okay, if you make patterns, you will need them, and if you don't have them, please reach out to me. I'll tell you how to get them. All right, so now on my table I have my fabric already folded, and like I said, I have 3 yards of fabric. So for you to know the amount of fabric you'll be using, you need to determine the width of each panel. So for me, the width of each panel on fold is 8 inches. So if the panel is not folded, 8 times 2 is 16. So I have 16 for the width of each panel. Now I want to make a 6 pieces, so 16 times 6 will give me 96. Then I need zip allowance of 2 inches for the left hand side and the right hand side. Okay, left and right for the back. Okay, that was 2 times 2 is 4. So 96, which we got earlier, plus 4 is 100. Now 1 yard is 36, so 100 divided by 36 gave us 2.7, approximately 3 inches. So this is how you determine how much fabric you would need depending on the width of your panel. All right, so please, you might use less than 3 yards or more than 3 yards depending on your size and the width of the panel, depending on how big you want it or how you want it to flow out at the hem. All right, so for me, the width of my panel is 8 inches. The width of each panel on fold is 8 inches, but if you open it up, it will be 16 inches. All right, so I am folding now. Okay, I want to get 8 inches for my center front. All right, so I'll make sure that on fold that I have 8 inches all the way from the top to the bottom. All right, so you need to make sure that you have that in check. Now I would mark the length of my top. Now I like to take out the selvage of every fabric I'm working on. I don't like the markings on the selvage showing on my outfit, so I've marked out the selvage, and from there I'll mark the length of my dress. Now I want the length of my dress to be 40 inches. It's going to be a short dress plus 1 inch hemming allowance. Okay, so please work with. All right, so I'll then mark that out. Okay, so the length of my dress is 41 inches plus hemming allowance. So I'll place the center front of my pattern, of my Princess Dart Bustier pattern. All right, so I'll place the center front on it. Make sure that you have all your sides. Okay, make sure that everything is incorporated into your fabric. All right, you don't want to leave anyone outside. So I'll place my Princess Dart Bustier center front, all right, directly on this, on where I marked my starting point. All right, so from the survey, that's where I marked my starting point. So I'll place it carefully. I'll just make sure that everything matches up. All right. So I'll use a little weight to hold it down. All right. So from the half length, okay, so I'll use my ruler to connect to the length of the dress, all right, to the 8 inches I marked there that is on fold. Okay, so I connect to that point, then I cut out. That's so easy. Just from the half length, just make a slant line to the length of the dress, okay, to where you marked your 8 inches on fold or whatever you're folding with. So it's super easy, guys. So with this method you can cut your 6 pieces dress with a half cut very easily and very fast. All right, so this is my center front. This is the center piece of my 6 pieces dress. All right, so we'll go ahead and cut the two side pieces. All right, so this is how it looks like. Now for the two side pieces, I want to cut them together. I want to make sure that I cut them together. All right, so this method saves you time and energy. So it means that I'll be folding my fabric to get the width of each panel. Now the width of each panel is 16 if it's not folded. All right, so on fold that is 8 inches. I'm repeating that. So because I want to cut the two side pieces for the front, I'll measure out 16 inches. Okay, so on my fabric I'll fold out 16 inches. Remember the width of each panel is 16. So because I want to cut the two side fronts, okay, I'll fold 16 inches so that I'll cut them together. All right, so I also mark out the selvedge and make that point my starting point. All right, so for these stickers on the fabric, I'll use my machine oil to take them out, or can use kerosene or even a hot iron to take the stickers out. Now, so after marking this the selvedge, okay, so that's my starting point. So from there I'll mark the length of my dress. Like I have 41 for the length of my dress, so I'll make a mark there and then trace it out into a straight line. Right, so that's the length of my dress. So I'll also make sure I have 16 inches there. Remember the width of each panel is 16 inches. All right, on fold it is 8 inches. So I'll get the side front. Okay, so this is the side front. All right, so I'll place it like so. So this is it. So what I'll do is to just turn it to the other side. Okay, so I'll place it like so. Make sure that the top is matching with the selvedge, like the line I marked there. Okay, so I'll just hold it down. You can use your pins to tack it to your fabric. Then I'll connect from the half length then to the length of the dress. Remember I have 16 inches on fold. Okay, on fold I have 16 inches because I want to cut the two side pieces at the same time. All right, for this one you don't need to start folding into two. You don't need to start folding 8 inches. Okay, you just cut folding 16 inches and then trace it out. So that's what I'm doing. From the half length I also extend to the other side, to the end of the fabric. Okay, so this method gives you an easy method. Okay, makes it very easy for you to cut out your 6 pieces dress without your half length. All right, so this method saves you time, it saves you energy. So you know this is 2021, so we need to work smart and work fast. All right, so I'll just cut out. Now don't forget, I did not forget to welcome you to my channel. This is Learn to Sew with Nani, and if you are new here, thank you for joining us. You're welcome to this beautiful sew family. So in this family or this community, we'll share sewing tutorials. Okay, so please follow us on Facebook, Learn to Sew with Nani. Here on YouTube, please subscribe, turn on your notification bell so that you get notified each time I upload a new video. Share this video with your friends and in other social media platforms. So now I want to cut out the back. Now remember that the back doesn't have, there's no bust at the back, so you will not have a bust here at the back. So I'll take out the bust cup. All right, so this is the Princess Dart Bustier, and the back has no bust. So for that reason I'll take out the bust cup. All right, so you can take it out like so and cut out, or there's another method. You can get your center front. So I'll get my center front right here and place it on the side front. All right, so like so I'll place it, I'll use the center front to cover up the bust cup. All right, so I'll make sure that all my vertical lines are matching. As you can see, I make sure that all my lines are matching. Then I use the center front to cover the bust cup. All right, because there wouldn't be need for the bust cup at the back. So I'll just trace out the shape of the center front. All right. So that's what I'm doing. I'll trace out the shape of the center front. Okay, down to the underbust because that's where the cup ended. All right, so that will take out my cup. So I'll place that again so that we can see it clearly. Just place the center front on the side front, then trace the shape of the center front. All right, so I'll do that again for clarity purposes. Okay, I know you understand, but I just like to do this over and over again so that we'll all get it. All right, so after that I would cut out. Now before that I need to measure. All right, so the only place I'm cutting out the bust cup is around the bust area. So when I place the center front on the side front, I need to measure to be sure that I also have my bust measurement, because some inches will be taken out if we cut. Now this is my bust measurement, so plus seam allowance I have 1.5 inches shorten. Okay, I have 1.5 inches less than what I had before. So if you see from the edge to where I made that mark, it's up to 1.5 inches. So I have 1.5 inches as a shortage. So when I am transferring this fabric to my pattern, I'll add 1.5 inches. So don't get confused. I'll show us exactly what I mean when I'm cutting the side back on my fabric. So I want to cut the center front now. So I'll fold my fabric. Remember, the width of each panel is 16, unfold is 8. Now because we'll be needing zip allowance at the back, remember I made provision for the zip allowance of 2 inches. So it means I'll be folding in 10 inches. Okay, so 8 inches for the width of each panel and 2 inches for my zip allowance. Please don't get it twisted, it is so easy. All right, so I fold with 10 inches. I make sure that I have 10 inches at the top and at the lower part. So I have an excess at the lower part, I have an excess from the other one I cut out. So what I'll just do is to make sure that at the lower part I have 10 inches. I don't want to have any panel bigger or wider than the other. Now from the center back, I'll mark out my 2 inches zip allowance. I'll mark it from top to the lower part. Okay, so like I always say, if you're watching till now, I love you. Thank you for the love you've shown me here on this channel. It's overwhelming. Like the subscriber count keep increasing every day, and it's because of the love you have shown me. Please know that I do not take it for granted. Thank you for being my friends here. Thank you for making my journey here worthwhile. You are the reason I do this, because if you don't watch, there is no way I'll keep making videos. So because you watch the content I post, I keep making videos. So thank you. If you are new here, please, you know the drill. Please subscribe. All right, turn on your notification bell so that each time I post a new video, I'll make sure that you're notified. All right, so after marking out my zip allowance, okay, I also mark out where the top will start, the dress will start from. Okay, my starting point. All right, so then I'll mark the length of my dress from there. Okay, so remember the length of my dress is 41 inches, hemming allowance inclusive. So I'll just mark out my starting point like so. Now take out the pattern, then mark the length of my dress. Remember that you can have your dress longer or shorter. Now if you want it to be a full length dress, you want to make sure that you work with the fabric that is up to 60 inches long. Like the length is up to 60 inches, Ankara is 45, except you want to fold along the length of your fabric, along the width of your fabric, and that would consume more than 3 yards. All right, so please have this at the back of your mind. So at the hemline, I'm marking my 8 inches. That's after the zip allowance there. So from the center front, it is 10 inches, but from the zip allowance, it is 8 inches. I hope you understand. We have zip allowance of 2 inches. So from after the zip allowance mark, I'll mark 8 inches. Okay, I hope you understand. I folded 10 inches because I need 2 inches zip allowance. So after the 2 inches zip allowance, I will now mark the 8 inches for the width of each panel. So I'll just connect from the half length to the width of the panel. All right, it's super easy, guys. Like this method, you can make, like if you're making ready to wear, you can cut like 10 6 pieces dresses in a day and even start joining them. It's super easy. So I don't subscribe to the method of starting to draft from the beginning. Just make a pattern. Pattern making makes the job very easy. Please, if you make patterns, you understand what I'm talking about. Making patterns make your work very easy. So if you don't make patterns, maybe I would what would I say, I encourage you to start making patterns, okay? They help and make your work easier and smarter. Okay, so this is 2021. We need to start working smart, all right? Not just working hard, work smart. Because if this was before, I will start from the beginning to start drafting on my fabric up and down. All right, so if you notice, I've cut out, okay, and I did not cut out the neckline. This is because the neckline for the front and the back is not the same. The back would have a higher neckline. All right, so I'll just maintain the neck width. And if you're asking, my neck width is 4 inches, so I'll maintain the neck width of 4 inches. Then the neck depth for the back is 1.5. Okay, my neck depth for the front is 5 inches. So but this can vary. All right, so just choose whatever you want. I'm just telling you what I have used or what I'm using. All right, so my neck width is 4 inches. My neck depth for the back is 1.5. So I'll use my curve ruler to cover out the neckline. All right, so I'll cut that out. So this is the neckline for the back. All right, so please don't make the mistake of cutting the same neckline for the front. You're going to have Don't make the mistake of cutting the same neckline you did for the front and the back. You're going to have a very wide dress, like the fitting will be so whack. All right, so I'll notch my zip allowance up and down. Then I'll open up the sides. All right, so just the way we do for our dresses. All right, just open up the sides. All right, so this is it. This is it. So like I said, your sewing tools are available: your pattern maker, your curve ruler, your straight ruler, your armhole curve, your seam ripper, your tracing wheel. They're available. If you need them, just come and make your order in my comment section or my WhatsApp, and I'll make sure I will bill it to you once you make payment. Then at the same time, the way you patronize me, I also want to patronize you. So if you sell ring light, please notify me in the comment section. I'll reach out to you and get one. I need to get a ring light. Now I want to cut the center back, the side back. All right, so this is the remaining fabric I have, so I'll fold to get 16 inches. Remember, the width of each panel is 16 inches, so I'll fold to get 16 inches. This is what I have left for my 3 yards of fabric. So if we hadn't measured, there is no way I would know that the 3 yards I have would be enough. Okay, I might just get to the last part and I will not have enough fabric. So you need to calculate this. Okay, you need to calculate. So I'll mark out the selvage. Then from there, I'll also mark the length of the dress, which is 41 inches hemming allowance inclusive. I'm repeating this so that we just know it. All right, so I would also connect that in a straight line. So what I'll do would just be to get my center, my side back. All right, we've already cut the center back, so now is the side back, and that's the last thing we are cutting. Okay, so I'm making sure that I have 16 inches. Okay, so that's the last time we're cutting. There is no sleeve. Okay, you can see this is a sleeveless dress and it just has like a tie around the armhole side. So that's what I'll be making. So afterwards, I'll get my pattern. So this is the side back, the side back. All right, so I'll just place it on my starting point. So what I'll do is to make sure that it's even, like the pattern is in between the width of the panel, just so that I can share, so that the slant line or the flare will be evenly shared. All right, so I'll just make sure that it's right somewhere in between, somewhere in the middle. Okay, so that's what I'm doing. All right, so I'll connect from one side to the hemline and the other side to the hemline. All right, so just so that I'll have the flare evenly spread out. So I'll place it on the starting point, then I'll mark out my armhole line. So that's my armhole. Now remember that's my chest line or the armhole line. So remember that when we were cutting out the bust shape, when we cut out the bust cup, right, we were short of 1.5 inches. So I'll just replace that 1.5 inches there. Tailoring is give and take. Whatever you cut out or whatever you take, I'll just replace it. So from there, I'll connect it to the half length. Super easy. Like we just replace that. Just now we replaced it. So you can see that it's very easy. Okay, so just don't start making a new pattern. Cut out the bust curve, then replace whatever that is shortened, all right, in your pattern to your fabric. So I'll just connect in a slant line to meet the 16 inches that I have there. Then also connect from this side to the other side of the fabric. And that is it, guys. That is just it. All right, so cutting your 6 pieces dress without half cut has never been this easy. Like, like, can you imagine? All right, so sewing is fun when you know what to do. Sewing is fun when you're not spending the whole day cutting, stressing, sweating. All right, so now at the top, I just like to add half inch for the back, okay? So that if there's any shortage, that can just make up for it. So at the top there, I'll just mark out half inch or 1 inch. Remember, we just took some things out from this side, all right? So just to be safe, I just like to add 1 inch there. So I cut out, and voila, we are at the end of this tutorial. So this is just a cutting tutorial. I'll also be uploading the sewing video. So after watching this, just note that, just be waiting, okay? Just wait a little while. I'll post the sewing video. All right, so this is the center, the side back. All right, there, life and direct. So if you found this video helpful, guys, you know the needful. Please hit that subscribe button. Please, it's for free. It's free. Please subscribe. Turn on your notification bell, guys. All right, so please help me share this video. Follow us on Facebook, Learn to Sew with Nani. All right, so I'll see you in the sewing video or in my next video. Bye.